everything has been more difficult than it should be.
Welcome to my life, yeah. On the bright side, yeah, this music here became my only lifeline. Think I'm going crazy, I'm not in my right mind, no. Welcome to my life, yeah. Welcome to my life, yeah.
All right, time to continue working on the Gator. We're gonna take the top off. I think I'm gonna try to clean up the bars and the top a little bit and get it painted. We'll see. So we're gonna go ahead and take that off. I don't think it's too much trouble because I've already taken a lot of the stuff off, although I'm not sure about the wires in the back for the tail lights. So we're gonna take this off and see what it looks like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it right here.
So we need to clean up these bars a little bit. We need to take the seats off.
And how are we gonna do that? With a pocket knife?
No.
You were joking, right? No, you weren't.
I don't know what to do.
Look, there should be bolts and screws.
Oh. Dad, I think that part looks right there looks sick. Maybe I should be standing on this, Dad.
Got the backrests off and some of the little braces. However, we're having a really difficult time with the seats. All these bolts down here holding the bottom seats on, they're just stripped, and they're just, well, I don't know so much about stripped. I had the same issue when I was renovating a golf cart. These seats, there's just not a whole lot for these bolts or these screws to go into, and so they don't have a whole lot to grab onto, and I don't know if they're just kind of sprayed to kind of go into that foam. Anyways, they're just kind of twisting and they're just stuck in there. So I'll have to work on that a little bit later. So we're gonna move on. We got all this removed. Gavin and Micah got it cleaned up pretty well. I'm probably gonna sand and paint that plastic dash as well. The next thing is we're gonna work on running that transmission cable, that high, or actually it's the Ford reverse neutral cable from the new gear levers that I put in. I'm gonna run those back and connect to the back. Not 100% sure how those go together. I can't really find a good manual as to how they work, but I think I can kind of figure it out through trial and error. So we're gonna work on that. All right, Micah's got the new cable. Here's the old one. It's kind of frayed. I mean, it may still would work, but honestly, might as well put a new cable on it. Ford reverse neutral cable will go to the top and then run it to the back. At least I think. And here's my manual. Does not tell me what cable is what. You would think the service manual would tell you. I guess they assume you know, but I don't know. All right, so we're gonna fish this cable down to where the other cables are. So Mike is trying to fish it down to Gavin, who's underneath. Yeah, Gavin! It's good to have a little dude who can get up under here.
Hey, I see it.
Hang on, Gavin, it's gotta go through the hole first.
I can push. I'm about to get it in. It's so close. Dang it. Stop. Oh my God, I got in the hole, push.
There's a little channel that we're trying to get it to get into. And then once we get in that channel, then we can crawl underneath and run it with the other cables to the back.
You feel something on this one?
All right, so we've managed to get it in that little channel. Gavin is now fishing it.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, here it is. Okay, that's fine. I didn't know it was that far. All right, good deal. Yeah, so it can stay with those other cables. And this is at the back of the gas tank. And so now we will bring it around. Here it is. And connect it to that.
Like this?
I think we got the cables all figured out. The 12 volt connection was not there. I mean, it was totally missing. So I bought a replacement. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is the wiring for it. So I've connected this just to test out. So we're gonna see if this works. Uh-oh. Let me swap my wires around and see. And still nothing. Could be a fuse, could be the wrong wires. So I need to keep troubleshooting. I'm gonna test my little charger. Oh, that lights up. Definitely wasn't getting power on the Gator. Well, you saw it was getting power, so that's working. It's probably the wiring. So I either don't have the right wiring, or something's wrong with the wiring, or maybe I just don't have it connected good. But it's getting late tonight. I will probably pick this back up tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Boom, it's a new morning, guys. Welcome back. Me and the boys could not get the seats off. More than likely, the sleeve that has the threads has broke loose inside the seat and is spinning. I actually ran into this several years ago when I was refurbishing a golf cart. Unfortunately, I can't even pull them out, trying to wedge them out, so I've just started cutting them. And I don't really have much other option, I think, at this point. And then I'll have to drill them out, which again is a pain. Something that shouldn't have been as tough as a project to refinish these seats, where I was hoping I could just take the seats off. I have new covers, staple new covers on, bam, done. Of course, it's going to be a harder, longer process. Every one of the bolts, none of them came out. So I'm going to cut all of them out and drill them all out, and then I'll have to figure out how to get them back in there, buy new sleeves, do something. I'll worry about that when I get to that point. I've come to the conclusion that this Gator is going to be, it's already been a pain in the butt, and it's going to continue to be a pain in the butt. Things that should be easy, or not even easy, but hopefully things that you go in to fix it, and then you have multiple obstacles to even get to fixing the problem. So that's what this has been. It's constantly nothing going right. It is always something frustrating, and that usually happens with projects to some extent, but this one has been like everything has been more difficult than it should be. So get to cutting. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. It will turn. You can do that all day. It's just not backing out. So what I did here is I went ahead and cut the heads off so that I could get the bracket off, and then again those are stuck up in there, so I'll have to drill those out. This head has zero space behind it, so again, I'm just cutting right into the bolt as close to it as I can. Thank you. All right, as I was working on the back one, I went ahead and cut one off, and then the other one I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and pry this off. I mean, I'm sure I'm probably gonna do a little damage to the seat, but at this point, what does it matter, right? Just to kind of see. So I pried it out, and this is what was on the other side. So it's not a sleeve where I had experienced that on the golf cart. It's actually just a nut, and it is super rusty. Seats are off. That's a good thing. However, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do to fix them and get them back, but we'll worry about that when we get there. We're not there yet. Now I can get this thing cleaned up a little bit more and painted, and then we'll work on the seats later. All right, got Gavin back helping me. We are now.
Oh, what is wrong with this?
It's undone except for the choke. You have to completely undo the choke from the back side and run it all the way back through, and it's not worth doing that. So I'm gonna leave it the way it is.
How do you hold it?
So Gavin and I are gonna sand down some nice people carved their names and initials, like Cole.
And Corey.
And, yeah, I don't know who that is. That was Sam. I've already sanded a little bit there, just testing it out. Yeah, and Corey. So anyways, we are gonna sand this down a little bit. I do have some, kind of like some Bondo. It's called icing, and I'm gonna probably Bondo a little bit. I mean, again, this doesn't have to be perfect. This is just going to the farm. But some of the stuff is a little frustrating. Who knows what the heck all this, but it's pretty chewed up in spaces and spots, but. All right, Gavin, why don't you hit it with the sander a little bit?
How do you hold it?
It's kind of a palm sander.
Like this?
Yeah, and then you flip that little switch, and then you don't bear down real hard. You're just going to kind of lightly go over it. It
feels so weird.
It vibrates.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let that touch your skin. It'll smooth your skin right up.
Yeah, you can do it. Feels so weird.
Finished hitting up the plastic, and it's so much smoother where those really rough gouges were.
Oh,
and again, I'm gonna probably put a little Bondo. Yeah, you remember how rough that was earlier?
Yeah.
So now we're just gonna hit some of the metal because I'm gonna go ahead and spray the frame as well. So we're gonna kind of scuff up the frame a little bit, knock off some of the rusty spots on it and some of the chip paint, some flakes. All right, Gavin. Everything is sanded, and now I'm going to use some of this body filler. It's called icing. It's like a Bondo. Honestly, I think this is about 10 years old, or maybe even older. I'm pretty sure I bought this when I fixed up. I had an 8-seater limousine golf cart, and I think this is what I used for it. But it appears to be still good. It's still came out in pretty good consistency. I did have to go buy more hardener, so we're gonna mix some hardener, mix up our putty, and start applying it to some of those rough spots on the dash. And then the top, we took the top off. There were some holes that were drilled in for extra lighting, so I took those lights off, so now I have a bunch of holes in there. So we're gonna try to fill those holes so that if we're out in the rain, we will not get wet.
It looks so weird.
All right, we're gonna putty some now. Then we'll sand it down and paint it, and hopefully then you won't be able to tell if it's done right. Now, again, because this is a little old, texture definitely feels a little different. I'm sure I'll probably get some negative comments. But look, this isn't a professional job. It's just to help improve it a little bit. Just kind of making do with what I have and just improving it a little bit. For a farm vehicle, we don't need it to look too pretty. Because this icing is a little old, it's not really as malleable as it should be. Finished doing the puttying, so I'm gonna let it sit for a little while, probably at least an hour, and I'll come back, sand it, see what it's like. If I need another application, and then I'll be ready for paint, although it's raining today, so no paint today. And we'll come back and check in about an hour. New day. When we left off, I had Bondoed, and I actually went back that night and I hit it with a little bit of sanding, and then actually put just a little bit more Bondo on a couple spots. Finished sanding, and then we're gonna go and paint this thing in a minute. Mike and Gavin are taping up the buttons because I don't want to spray paint the buttons. We've got to get a little bit better job on this tape.
That was Mike, and I told him that. Time to paint her up.
Feel that now. All those gashes that were in it.
Oh.
Silkish. Ooh. Put some plastic on the back because all I really want to do is I just want to hit some of this top part, this metal. So I'm going to hit the back side and start hitting some of the frame, and then I'll put some plastic up on the front and around the seat area and do that as well. All right, Gavin, we're gonna let Gavin learn how to spray paint. All right, so a key to spray paint, it's not about how much you're putting on at one time, okay? You don't want to just sit here and hold still. You want to constantly be moving, and it's a bunch of light coats versus one heavy coat. And then we'll let that dry, and then you hit it a different way. Keep a distance, and you gotta start moving. Whoa, that's too heavy. Yeah, it's kind of like a little closer. There you go. Keep it moving. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You don't just start swirling. You want to stay in a steady line. So you want to stay a steady line, right? So you hit this. So we're hitting this section. Then you'll move to the next section, right? Or if you're working your way up, you see how you can kind of see the paint hitting it. Mm-hmm. Look, whoa! See how heavy it is? And you, instead of just holding it,
yeah,
just kind of like spray release, spray release, spray release. Look, you already hit this bar, and I come over here, and then you got to hit it from different angles. Whoa!
Devin.
Whoa, whoa.
Okay, maybe you shouldn't do this. You're not.
Yeah, you see how you held still, and see how it's kind of starting to run right there. So you want to just.
All right. So which part am I doing?
It's hard. It takes some. I mean, it's not hard. It just takes a little practice and skill. There you go. Doing a good job. Here's the top, and you can see the holes. Colin and Gavin are scraping off the tail lights, and then we're going to tape that. Probably another coat of Bondo on some of the holes, and then we'll paint the top too. All right, we're moving now to the dash in the front. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's really heavy, Michael. Look how much it's running. Light coats. Even if we have to do 5 or 6 light coats, that's way too... Look, it's going to start dripping. Started getting dark on us, so we went ahead and pulled things in, started putting up stuff for the night. It's not completely done with the paint, but I think we got it good enough for the first coat anyways. As it's drying, I do see some imperfections and some spots where it's lighter that obviously I have to get a little bit more, but that's okay. The first coat really was more of just a light coat anyways. Definitely a lot better than it was. Starting to make some progress, starting to look good. Well, that's it for the night. I'll get back to it in the morning and do some more work on it.
Welcome to my life, welcome to my life, yeah. Welcome to my life, welcome to my...